Hello, lovely people. Welcome to this lesson on Multiview in 3D AI Studio. I show you a complete workflow from idea generation to final 3D model using multi-view functionality of different AI models. And I will tell you exactly what to keep in mind when generating with multi-view. So let's dive into it. And here is a clear example why we need multi-image gen. If you've ever generated a model that looks fine from the front, but then you rotated it and it starts to look cursed, that is the exact problem that multi-view is trying to solve.
This video is a paid partnership with 3D AI Studio.
Look at the stick going through her head. Here's the rule. Multiview only matters if you care about a specific detail staying consistent across all angles. If there's no anchor detail on the back, for example, then single view is often faster and probably often prettier. Multi-image doesn't magically improve quality. It improves agreement. There are a few factors that decide whether that agreement looks great or a little bit like toothpaste. Multiview can sometimes look duller, especially with shiny, translucent stuff. So instead of arguing with specular highlights for 10 minutes, I show a clear example where multiview definitely wins. At first, I wanted a dapper dog in a tuxedo. ChatGPT gave me a Cocker Spaniel. Since it needed something on the back, I chose to generate a red cape. And this gave me the idea of a more medieval themed style. So after some iterations, I landed at this medieval messenger dog, carrying a little messenger bag. The anchor detail is the little bag or satchel. The strap has to make sense from the front, side and back view. If multi-view works, the bag should look similar and the placement shouldn't drift when we rotate the model. Once I settled on the final character, I used Nano Banana and also ChatGPT to generate a clean character sheet from all angles. Keep the lighting, the pose, the colors, and the overall style the same. And I did a few off-camera iterations to get the strap and back placement consistent. It's important that this basic character sheet is precise and looks the same in all aspects except the camera view. Good multi-view starts with boring and consistent references. So the quick rules: same character, same scale, same pose, and boring background. First, I ran a single view iteration with Hunyuan 3.1. It looks okay. The colors are nice and bright. And the backside is really alright, but it's not the satchel that I wanted. The hands have some problems as well. Since they were not clear in the frontal reference, the AI just guesstimated how they should look. Okay, now we do the same thing with multi-view, and I'm also using Hunyuan 3.0 for this. And I upload my 4 references. We have much more detail on the back strap, for example, the buckle and the bag itself. One thing that both single and multi-view with the Hunyuan model didn't get right were the back of the ears. Switching to Prism 3.0 gave a completely different result, so it's worth checking out multiple AI models, if one is not quite getting it. The Prism 3.0 result was really nice. It even got the ears at the back of the head correctly, and I also like the face. The only issue was with the strap, but that was a problem with my references. The strap sat at a different height in the 2 images. And the AI faithfully recreated that error. Of course, it would be best if it could understand that this is meant to be one continuous single leather strap. The one remaining issue is the strap alignment. And this is a great lesson. If your views don't fully agree, the model will average the geometry and you will see drift. So if multi-view looks confused, check your references first. The AI model often can't reconcile contradictions if you feed it. So as you can see, multi-view doesn't behave the same across different AI models. Prism tends to preserve small details better, like ears and that little scroll, but it's also stricter when your views don't match perfectly. Hunyuan is more tolerant of contradictions, so it can keep the strap more coherent, but it often simplifies or drops the smaller details. So the takeaway is, choose the model based on what you need to preserve, fine detail versus overall coherence. Because I wanted to finally get it completely right, I iterated a few times more with the character treat function in 3D AI Studio to finally get a consistent result that would work from all angles for the AI. And here's the final result. Find my multi-view references in the video description. Finally, the strap runs across the body as it should. The colors look nice, the face and the ears work, back placement holds up, strap routing makes sense, and the character in general stays consistent when we rotate. Here you can see the Prism 3.0 result, and in comparison the Hunyuan 3.1. The fingers look nice, and this time both even got the details of the back head. I had to sacrifice the little scroll coming out of the satchel, but all in all I think this result is really satisfactory, and you can see that all the details work across all angles. I think this is a clear win. What do you think? Now you know what Multiview is good at, preserving anchor details. For Catgirl, the anchor detail is the lollipop. Multiview helps with placement, but the material and the rod still challenges the model, and the colors and expression got dulled in an exchange for accuracy. So for her, I would opt for generating the lollipop completely separately, and her in a neutral stance and combine in post-gen work. Generating the assets separately works well for our medieval messenger dog. I created a successful multi-view run with a smaller satchel. But to keep it close to the original, where a little parchment scroll was peeking out the back, I can also create our hero and his bag completely separately, then remesh and bring them together afterwards in Blender. That way the character multi-view stays consistent and I can still keep the scroll detail as a high quality prop. More on remeshing in the next lesson. Here's the final recap. Rule of thumb, when multi-view drifts, check your references first. Check 4 things. Your references have same scale and framing across views. That there is the same pose and silhouette. That the anchor detail is visible in at least 2 views. And most importantly, that the attachment points agree. If, for example, a strap starts higher in one view and lower in another, the model can't invent a physically consistent strap, so it can average and then it will not align. But also be aware of things like translucent materials or iridescent surfaces, which can confuse the AI and decrease the quality of the multi-view output. Use multi-view when a specific detail must not drift. Things like bags, backpacks, asymmetry, hair features, a tail. Don't expect multi-view to always look prettier. It works well with some materials and models and not so much with others. But you can expect it to be more consistent. Model choice matters. If one AI model doesn't really yield what you're after, try one of the others. And if something drifts, your reference consistency is the first thing to check. Don't expect a good output if you don't feed it good input. Next up, we'll take this model into the remeshing workflow of 3D AI Studio to optimize it for any further usage.